So student, you have seen the several type of complexity in the nerve supply to the tongue. If you recall the development of the tongue, then you can understand better the nerve supply of the tongue. As you know, the tongue has been developed from the two lingual swelling, which is composite parts of a first and second branchial arch, to forms one solid structures which is called the tubercular impar, that is pertaining to the anterior two-third of the tongue. Okay, and from this tubercular impar there is the thyroid rudiment starts, and which ends into the thyroglossal duct, from which the future thyroid has been formed. And for that reasons the anterior two-third part of the tongue has been supplied by the nerve of the first branchial arch, that is the lingual nerve and the chorda tympanic branch, which are pre-traumatic and the post-traumatic branch of this branchial arches. Okay, now for the posterior one-third of the tongue, it is formed by a structures which is called the structures. As you know, for the posterior two-third of the tongues, it is formed from the hypobranchial eminence, which is composite parts from the second, third and fourth branchial arches. Okay, and it has one posterior part and another anterior part. From the anterior parts, behind the sulcus terminalis, as you know, behind the sulcus terminalis, which demarcates the tongue into the anterior two-third and the posterior one-third, within this posterior one-third, which has been derived from the hypobranchial eminence, the posterior parts is engaged to form the epiglottis, and whereas the anterior parts engaged to form the rest part of the posterior third of the tongue from the third branchial arch, the nerve supply of which is the glossopharyngeal nerves. Okay, and the epiglottis is supplied from the superior interlaryngeal branch of the superior laryngeal nerve from the 10th cranial, that is the vagus nerve. Okay, and what's about the muscles of the tongue? The muscles of the tongues is arises from the occipital myotome, the four presomites of the occipital myotome, and it migrates through the epicardial ridges of Fraser's from the posterior aspects to the anterior aspects, carrying with it the hypoglossal nerves, that is the 12th cranial nerve, to supply the nerve of the musculature of the tongue, and the fibrous stroma has been formed from the mesoderm surrounding it. For the mucous membrane supply, you will better understand due to the composite nature of the development of the tongue. Now here is some congenital anomaly is related with the tongue. The pictures of which I will try to show you later. First starts with the aglossia. Aglossia means there is absence of the tongue, complete absence of the tongue. Hemiglossia, where the anterior two-third of the one half of the tongue, as you know, it arises bilaterally from the two lingual swelling, will be absent. Okay, now the another one is the lingual thyroid. When the median thyroid rudiment is unable to regress downwards, okay, or regress caudally, it persists as a lingual thyroid at the region of the foramen cecum. Okay, which is represent the one parts of the ending of the thyroglossal duct. Okay, sometimes this thyroglossal duct may persist in a midline swelling, which is termed as the thyroglossal cyst. Now another reason is the tongue tie. If we see here, that is the under surface of the tongue, we know that there is presence of the frenulum linguae. If these parts has been shortened, it creates the problem of speeches, and this is called the tongue tie or ankyloglossia. Okay, and sometimes, as I have told you, it arises bilaterally from the two halves. Okay, and if one lingual swelling is absent from very beginning, so that will affect the tongue in the one half to or the both the tough. If there is not the absence, if there is problem in the unifications of the two lingual swelling, so both of half of the tongue will originate separately, creating the bifid tongue, okay, which we have seen with the snakes. Okay, so that's all for the tongue. Thank you.